Has everybody got a teach they want to share real quick? No?
You know what? It causes me to wring my hands. And that's getting people. And I don't know if you guys have this, but our first time lessons are only an hour and a half.
Oh, yeah,
But
yeah.
gosh darn it, sometimes getting people to even just make a turn is challenging,
It is.
It,
especially if they have no core strength.
you know what I found works with a lot of them is if you have them point in the direction they're going, they automatically go, and that kind of gets them moving without thinking about it.
I've tried a number of things last week, and for the life of me, I just couldn't get a bunch to turn. I tried pointing the arrow and follow me, and
Hmm.
it was just a hand wringer
Yeah,
last week.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sometimes what I do is I just get on my knees and manipulate their skis so they get the feeling of flattening the inside ski in order to how that transfers the weight to the outside ski. It engages and then it automatically turns.
Yeah.
My only fear with that is if you've got someone that's an adult, what I don't want them to do is fall on top of me.
Yeah, that hasn't happened yet.
AJ, you don't look like a small guy.
Uh, I,
You know, I stealth do it in my teach of the beginners, and I'm going to admit I have only done like two beginner teaches this year, but I'll stealth do it. So I'll go down when I'm demonstrating the wedge, arrow, pizza, whatever you want to call it, as I'm going down. And then at the end of the deal, as I'm turning around to go look back up at it, I'll sneak in a turn at the end, right? And demos are everything in my mind, right? I taught a guy today who's Brazilian, and guess what? Language is an issue,
oh
right?
yeah.
He speaks very poor English, and I don't know Portuguese. So, so demos were really important, and drawing in the snow was really, really important. But that idea of like sneaking these things in, and then when they do them, when they're coming down, they usually kind of do, see Johnny do as Johnny does. I'll say, hey, why are you turning? I haven't told you to turn yet. And they don't even know they're doing it, right? But sometimes when you're in your teach and you're asking them to turn, sometimes that's like, oh my God, I don't know how to do it. What's the correct way to do it? And they get really cognitive about it. And then they start doing weird things. So sometimes I like to kind of just preload the chamber, so to speak, show them without actually calling it out.
And that's kind of why I do it. Well, okay, just follow me. Don't even
Yeah.
just look at the back of my jacket. Don't even pay attention.
Hey, it works for 3 and 4 year olds.
Sometimes that works. Sometimes it doesn't work with adults because
Sometimes
they're,
it doesn't
but
work.
anyway, that was my frustrating
Hey,
Yeah, yeah.
lesson
hey,
for,
And
AJ,
sometimes,
yeah.
have you had them try the basketball move? You stick your right hand straight out, you dribble that ball, and by them doing that, that puts weight on the right side,
It
and
flattens
they make
this.
a turn
Yeah, it
without
flattens the
realizing.
ski. I've done it in the past. I didn't do it in this particular lesson,
right.
but it's worth trying.
Yeah, it's what I try anything after a while. About 80% of the people that I talk to will follow me and do what I ask. There's about 20%, about 1 in 5 who just don't do it that way. And I got to do something different. Mike, you have your hand up.
Yeah, there's several things that you can also consider. One of them is oftentimes I've observed instructors trying to have their students make their turns way too tight and too quick. So the bigger the turn you can make, that is a turn that takes a lot of slope, is often your best recourse.
Yeah, I agree
As
with that.
an outside entity, a thing that can also be done is in the very flat area, have them make a wedge and have them use their poles and actually push themselves in a straight line and then gradually push themselves while staying in a wedge to the right or to the left. I have also had, as a last resort, to grab my poles and slowly pull them in a wedge, again making a very big arc and pull them through a turn just to get those first turns engaged, as it were. But the biggest, I've discovered, at least at Loveland, and that the biggest issue people have with the first turns is they try to make them too fast, too quick, and too short.
I think Mike has a very valuable point. My idea of success is like this much, right?
Yep.
It's just not very much. We're not looking for the big arc. We're just looking for like a little bit, a little bit. Oh, this is another trick I'll do sometimes, AJ. Uh, make them do it from a side hill, not necessarily straight sideways, but
Yeah,
starting slightly down the hill. That way they kind of weight properly, and then it's a lot easier to kind of turn it back up the hill again. That works sometimes too.
yeah. No, I've done all of those in various stages of my career. The unfortunately, and I'll shut up after this. Unfortunately, because we're a small mountain, we're dealing with limited real estate
Right.
where we have to fight the kids programs as well on the same slope. And so terrain dictates the degree of the arc. So
And
anyway,
turn it into an arcade game. Pick the kid that's yours and aim at him.
well, I kind of do that. Go aim at that and see that instructor over there. Go run him
Yeah.
over.
Go get that instructor. Yeah, exactly. I use that a lot, right? You see that one that dumbass instructor who's not doing anything down there? Yeah, give him something to do.
And again, one of a good exercise to use, and it's underutilized a lot, are wedge change-ups.
Yeah.
Get them to the point they're incredibly comfortable with those before you bring turns in.
Yeah.
What do
I
you
use
mean
them
by
all the
that?
time.
Is that like a crab walk?
No, it's
No.
like just bigger and smaller,
Oh, okay.
bigger and smaller. That is definitely one of those that's routine in my book. Every time I'll do that, I'll use those.
Yep. And when they start having problems, I go back to those and then go back to turns because it teaches that rotary component and standing on 2 feet.
All
And
right.
if they're standing on 2 feet, yeah, we think of it as pressuring the outside ski, but the reality of it is on shallower terrain, it really is two-footed movements for them.
I'll try
All
all
right.
of those. Thank you.
All right. See who else is here. Anna, you were here early. Leonard is here. David, it's good to see you. Rita, how's Rita doing?
I'm doing great. I came off the mountains just a little while ago and I was having coffee with my colleague and I'm like, I gotta go.
I gotta go. David, you're back.
Yep, I'm
Jerry
back.
Ann, it's always great to see you again.
Hey, we got two Davids tonight.
We got two Davids tonight. David Meredith is actually at Snow Creek. We also have Jerry Schrick, who's going for his level 2. He's also at Snow Creek.
And
And
we got Boost Physical Therapy, so somebody's teaching us biomechanics tonight. Awesome.
Katie's here. Good to see you, Katie. Scott Rosenthal, nice. All right, good. All right, so question came up. Scott last week sat down in the locker room and was like, dude, how can I create a way to have a framework that I can use in MA that keeps me on track? Scott, do you want to elaborate on that real quick? And now that I've called him out.
Uh, if you're thinking of Scott Rosenthal, that was
No, Scott Sonnendecker is who I'm talking about.
So I'm just sitting here. I've been going all day. I was trying to wolf down some dinner. That's what. Um, I've been working on my level 3 for about 3 years, and I've been struggling with MA. And Gumby and I sat down and talked, and he finally got through to me on one thing, which was you need to have a process that you use every time you do MA. And that finally sunk home because the last MA I did, I was bouncing all over the place. So, and then on Monday night after that, there's a group here that's our RMT, our trainer group, and they are allowing me to be in that. And I did an MA there, and it was probably the best MA that I've done in all of my practice because I had a process that I followed. And one of the things I did is I told this group of very, very accomplished skiers, I said, I'm focused on doing this MA where I just follow the process. I'm not going to worry if I get it actually perfectly right or perfectly wrong in terms of what I say, of what I see, but I'm going to make sure the process was right. And I got a lot of very positive feedback that it was a very good MA. So just having a good process can help you get to where you need to be. That was my learning.
So describe what your process is, just in a few words, just in a few
Sure.
words.
Well, as simply as I can, I mean, I wrote it down. I said the first thing I'm going to do is say, what am I seeing from the terrain? Is it an intermediate run, advanced run? What are the conditions? Is it variable? Is it moguls? Is it groomed? What's the turn shape? And that's kind of the first piece. And then the next thing I'm going to talk about is I'm going to pick my fundamentals. So these are the two fundamentals that I'm going to be talking about. And then I'm going to, state what those are. And then the next thing I'm going to do is say, here's what I see the skis doing. And then here's what I see the body doing to cause that. And then I'll do the next fundamental. Here's what I see the skis doing. Here's what I see the body doing to cause that. Then I'm going to say more ideally, this is what I would like to see. And then prescription for change.
Cool. Sounds kind of familiar.
Yeah, well, it's right there, right? But I've seen this for 3 years and I haven't actually made myself do it every time. Chuck's
Right.
laughing at me and it's deserved.
No, I'm laughing because the key point of that was, Scott, is that you finally were like, God help me find something that I can use.
Yeah,
And that's where you probably had looked at us 100 times. Yeah, that looks great.
right,
But
right,
until you really needed it, it really wasn't that important to you. So,
right.
this is the primary skill MA. This form came from Telluride Ski School, and they force all of their level twos to follow this, adopt and follow this. It's just a script.
You put that in the chat, Chuck?
I've put it on every single email for the last 2 months.
I've been out of the
All
loop.
right, not a problem.
Okay.
I'll put it in the chat. Not a
Thank
problem.
you.
But this is a very,
Appreciate
very
you.
useful, this is a very, very useful script because it just outlines, it doesn't tell you what to say. It just gives you an order of which to say stuff, which
Has,
makes
The
it a
other thing,
whole lot easier.
the other thing I'm going to mention about this that I found helpful when I was speaking, I got to the point where didn't really have anything else to say. And I'm like, what do I do? I just go to the next phase and start
Right.
talking about that. Even if I didn't get everything right or felt like I was missing something, I just went to the next one. And that kept me moving and kept me on track.
There you
has
go.
has anyone, I know quite a few people in the East are using this format, but they're using the SBI format.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
This is very similar, although it's this script, which obviously I've seen before, is more detailed than the SBI format.
Yeah, right.
But
I think,
if you come
yeah,
across the SBI format, this is largely the same.
yeah, it largely is the same. So I think I think they're looking for a ladder or some kind of skill development or some kind of script that they wanted to use, and they kind of used the SBI. For those of you who don't know what SBI is, it is situational behavior and impact. And it's actually a framework that's used for interpersonal communication between people that PSI has adopted as a people skills piece that governs how we react and talk about with our guests, and especially in situations that might be a little thornier or stickier. How do we respond to those things? For there's lots of YouTube resources you can look at SBI as much as you would like to. I think it's a really good framework for governing our speech, um, but it's not the end all. So, but anyway, like I said, I got this from Telluride. Actually, Jim Shaw provided it because he suddenly noticed that everybody from Telluride was saying the exact same things at the exact same times. And he goes, where is this coming from? And they actually provided this script for him. And I use this. I think it's very useful.
Is the tracking piece, is that pressure slash control? What is that PC?
Which one?
Down at the bottom, tracking of.
Oh, that's the tracking. So this is the level 2. Okay. So for those of you who are doing level 1, you're going to have a primary skill, and then you're going to have a secondary skill, right? Well, primary fundamental and a secondary fundamental. So the primary fundamental might be a pressure control, fore aft or edging. And then, I'm sorry, fore aft or ski to ski pressure. And then you might have a secondary, which is going to be either rotation or edging as a tracking. And the key is that you're going to be doing a full MA, all 3 phases throughout the turn. And then you're going to be tracking a secondary fundamental, kind of in more of a broader stroke. Does that make sense? Is that what you've been working on, Dave?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I noticed the skiers ski to ski in some phases are happening in the same phases as the primary. And this is caused by boots, hips, skis, whatever. And then the more ideal ski performance to that would be blah, 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 right? More pressure to the outside ski through most of the phases of the turn, progressively from the top to the bottom, right? And I'm doing that through leg extension of the outside leg and shortening of the inside leg as we, until the apex, and then we'll begin to shorten the outside leg as the inside leg gets longer. Right. So that'd be an example of tracking. And you're not really talking about at the initiation, blah, 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 right? It's not really that formal. The primary is going to be that formal. Yeah. No, maybe sometimes.
Yeah, I think you're going to do an example again tonight, right?
Huh?
You're going to do it.
Yes, 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 yes. Now that I have such a huge audience, I almost feel obligated, right?
Yeah.
I got a huge audience tonight. All right, good. This is good because that makes you guys auditors tonight. Okay. And I honestly got on a call with Alona early, so I didn't get a chance to really look at this person. So I'm going to wing it. Right. And I'm just going to do a level 2 and keep it really, really simple. Okay. Oh, one more other thing. I'm sorry. There was one other thing I wanted you guys to look at. And that is the national scorecard. And where is the scorecard? Scorecard. All right. So here is the national scorecard. So this is what they are scoring you on. I know every one of you has mastered and memorized the scorecard, right? But the key is that it's broken out into 2 pieces. You have the movement analysis piece, And then you have the technical understanding, and that's how you talk about yourself. And I really have not pushed the whole technical understanding thing because I'm hoping that through the movement analysis, you are gaining a greater understanding of your own skiing and that you can talk about that competently by doing both. That's my hope and dream and wish. I don't know whether that's actually true or not. And some of you might come back and say, gee, you know, it'd be really nice if we just talked about stuff. But I spent a whole summer talking about body mechanics and, you know, stuff like that. So the key that we are doing in this group is mostly working on this part, the movement analysis part. And this part is more about your own personal experiences. And really, it's very simple. This is a level 2, level 3 scorecard. Does not matter for whether you are a level 2 or level 3 because it's all does the same. Describe performance. The description is going to be for level 2 is going to be for 4 fundamentals. You're going to be doing a morning and an afternoon MA. And you're going to be describing 2 primaries and 2 secondaries. And you're going to be describing the primaries from initiation through shaping to finish. And then you're going to be doing hopefully a cause and effect relationship between the ski and body performance. So you're going to describe the performance. You're going to show a cause and effect relationship. You're going to evaluate the performance to compare it against an ideal. And then you're going to have a prescription for change. And then the last little piece is how does evaluate equipment-based cause and effect relationships relative to the student and their objectives in a skier in all skier ability zones. Frankly, if you don't know by now that wider skis have a tremendous effect on a skier's ability to ski on piste or on, you know, firm, compacted, packed powder conditions, you will know now, right? But I don't expect there's going to be very many level 2s out there that are going to come on 122 skis. But you will probably see somebody coming in with 100, at least 100 millimeters underfoot, right? Ideally, it would be smaller than that, but the equipment can have an effect. Usually delays the tipping, usually delays the pressure phase. And you just want to be able to talk about that quickly. Just utter it. I mean, I just say something along the lines of the skier that I'm looking at appears to have equipment that seems to be functioning and well done and is not adversely affecting how they are skiing. Or I could say, gee, if they had something a little less waist underfoot, they could probably get a little bit higher edge angle at the top of the turn. Yes, no, maybe sometimes.
Hey Chuck,
Yeah.
this is Eric Lindquist. We haven't met. I was
Yeah, nice to meet you, Eric. Oh, we lost you, Eric.
All right. Well, in the meantime, I have a question.
Go ahead, Leonard.
On the 2 people that we're going to MA, does it matter if what we see relates to the same primary and secondary fundamental, or do they need to be different?
Ideally, they should be different, unless they will ask you in the morning, which 2 fundamentals are you going to be talking about? All right.
Yeah.
They used to assign it. So in the old days, you'd watch videos in the morning and then you would go and do your MA on a video. And then you would go out in the afternoon and you would watch skiers come down and do MA on the skiers. Now it's against your peers. So you're going to be watching one of your peers come down and you're going to be describing them.
Yeah.
And they're going to be doing a task. Probably either basic parallels or short radius turns or medium radius performance turns, or they could be doing, technically they could be doing side slips, right? And you're going to be describing that performance. I don't think they would be mean to you like that in a level 2. that would be trainer status kind of level of meanness. But I just wanted to share the scorecard with you guys so that you have an understanding of the scoring criteria: describe, cause and effect, evaluate, prescribe, and the equipment. And then all of this is you speaking about your own teaching or your own what you're doing in your own skiing. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and move on. I'm already behind because, I'm always behind. All right, so here's our skier. And somebody give me 2 fundamentals.
Fore aft.
Something other than fore aft. Give me something more complicated than that.
Foot to foot pressure.
Foot ski to ski pressure?
Ski to ski pressure.
Okay.
And edging.
Huh?
Upper lower separation.
That's not a fundamental, AJ.
Edging.
All right, ski to ski pressure and what else? Edging?
Edging.
All right, cool.
Angulation. Inclination.
Angulation.
Yeah.
Angulation would be edging, yes. So I'm going to be speaking about that. I'm only going to do it briefly, though. And I'm going to use the primary skill fundamental. I'm looking at a skier on groomed blue terrain. Skier is making mostly parallel turns. Turns are looking like they're kind of a little bit on the long radius side. They're definitely longer in length than they are from side to side. For the most part, skiing is relatively C-shaped. I'd probably say they're a little bit more of a J or a comma. I'm sorry, not a comma, a parentheses turn. So they're like this. For those of you who don't know, I think they're like this. They're longer in length than they are from side to side. The 2 fundamentals I'm going to be looking at, I'm going to be looking at ski to ski pressure, and then I'm going to be tracking edging. And I'm going to be looking at all 3 phases of the turn. So at initiation, what I'm seeing and I'm going to be doing ski to ski pressure first. So at initiation, I'm noticing that this skier is got a little bit more pressure on the inside ski than appropriate. And it's fairly consistent through the turn. The inside ski is definitely bending more in the shaping phase. And the reason I notice that is because this inside ski is tracking a little bit is definitely converging a little bit. Only a little bit.
What did you say? Converging?
Diverging. It's diverging.
Yeah.
Did I say converging? Maybe I did.
Oh, you did. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. You're supposed to audit me, right?
Yeah.
Wait till the end, right? So at initiation, I'm noticing that the inside ski has got a little bit more pressure, and then it continues into shaping phase. Shaping phase is more obvious because there is a diverging relationship that's happening in the shaping phase, and it kind of continues into the finish phase. And then it's kind of then both skis are kind of equally unweighted and the transition, and then it kind of rinses and repeats on the other side. From a body standpoint, what I'm noticing a lot is that the person is banking in almost all of their turns, and they're kind of doing a metronome, right? So they kind of move in a straight line from one side to a straight line on the other side. They're not really, I'm bringing in another fundamental only for visual purposes. I'm not really seeing any angles built at any point in time, but we'll talk about edging here in a minute. So it's basically, I'm just seeing a lot of this metronome look. And because of that, and there's not a lot of inside ski bending in each turn, most of those legs are pretty uniform in length from one to the other. There isn't an inappropriate amount of pressure that's happening on the inside ski, simply by the tipping part of the turn. Ideally, what I would like to see is both skis about equally pressured at the initiation, at the very, very top of the turn. And then as the turn begins to progress, that the inside ski will become, or the outside ski will start to bend more than the inside ski. And that will keep going until just after apex where the forces are the greatest. or the outside ski is going to be receiving almost all of the pressure. And then there's going to be a steady decreasing of pressure on the outside ski as the inside ski begins to take on a little bit more, a little bit more bending. And she's going to achieve that by a long leg, short leg relationship, where the outside leg is going to be, both legs are going to be fairly uniform in length at the top of the turn, where there's going to be very little pressure difference between the inside and outside ski. But as the skis start to move into the turn, there is going to be a lengthening of the outside leg, which is going to allow this ski to move out, and this is shortening of the inside leg, which is going to allow this ski to move in. And this is going to be receiving more pressure as we take pressure off the inside ski. And that's going to happen all the way until the apex or shortly after the apex. And then there's going to be a start of a shortening of the outside leg and a lengthening of the inside leg as we begin to transition from one turn into the next. Questions so far? All right, edging. What I'm noticing the skier, and remember, this is just tracking, okay? What I'm noticing about this skier is that almost all of the edging is happening from one of two places. One of them is that there is a whole lot of inclination. There is not a lot of angulation throughout the turn. Angles are not really built that allow her to be able to control the edges on the outside ski. And I'm also noticing a little bit of a twist over the outside leg, which is also kind of compromising her ability to do that.
That twist just became rotary.
Yeah, I was going to say, isn't that rotation?
Dang it. What was I doing?
And we're supposed to audit you, right? So. Yeah.
Okay, I'll shut up.
I was
Dang, Mike,
just
don't give
about
away
to
the
say
script.
that, though.
Right?
Yeah.
But just remember, it's kind of really easy. You see how easy it is to kind of slip from one to another?
Mhm.
I'm not saying they're not related. They might be related, but I didn't need to mention that. Ideally, what I'd like to see her do is tip the skis throughout the turn progressively from the top to just after apex, so that the highest edge angles are just after apex. And then as she goes to the back to the primary and the legs lengthen, that the edging will go ahead and start to soften on both skis until they're flat again at the top of the next turn. I would like to also see edges being created to allow her to manage edge. I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. I would like to see angles created that are going to allow her to manage the edging at the lower part of the turn, the part that's after the apex, where the pressures are starting to build. Or let me say it in Mike's way. I would like to see her regulate the magnitude of pressure at the end of the turn by creating angles at the end of the turn. Yeah. Is that enough of a lane change for you, Mike?
Well, that was much more simple.
All right, you guys get to tear me apart. What were the things that you noticed that I missed?
I have a question.
Okay, go.
You talked about creating angles.
Uh-huh.
Can you elaborate on how you want the angles created with body performance?
Oh, what? I didn't say that? How dare you? Where should the angles be created, gang? Ankles, starting at the ankles?
At joints.
At joints, right? Starting at the
Big
ankles.
bones can't make angles.
Right. I mean, technically she's doing a little bit of angulating, but it's really just on the outside leg and it's barely any. And frankly, the upper body twist is really robbing her of the ability to do that. That's why I kind of mentioned that. But no, this should be creating angles in the ankles, knees, and then hips as the pressures begin to build. Right now, it just looks like downhill skiing turns, downhill racing turns.
So my next question is maybe a little bit picky.
No, go ahead.
It's more about, we talked about a divergence in the skis,
Sure.
and I see towards the end of the turn,
Mhm.
I think I see a little A-framing, which indicates a convergence of the tips, brief and small.
I would agree with you at the initiation, but a convergence in this case is going to be describing what?
Rotary.
Rotary, right. And I agree with you because she uses an upper body twist to start the turns.
That's right, but we weren't talking about rotary, so that's why you
Yeah,
wouldn't have
that's
brought
why I
that
didn't
in.
really mention that, right?
Yeah, okay.
I agree with you. That is actually happening, but what I was looking at was the slight convergence that's happening after the apex of the turn that kind of continues into the finish until she starts to swing from one turn to the next.
Convergence or
I'm sorry,
divergence?
Divergence. Sorry,
Yeah.
divergence. This
So-
way.
Because she's
And
Can we-
it's just this much. It's not like
Right.
like this. It's just a little bit. But it does give me a visual indication that there's more pressure on the inside ski than there should be.
I would suggest it's not so much a divergence as much as it's the distance between the skis get larger
Yeah.
as she balances over the inside ski, and the outside ski with that leg extension is trying to find the snow, and the
Right.
distance between the skis get wider.
Cool. So, anybody else got anything?
So I want to be more clear about the
Cool.
cause
Cause and effect?
or an effect in terms of by not creating angulation, the effect is
She has a
less
limited ability
edging
to
of
edge. Yeah.
but
Because
then
yeah, go ahead.
I mean, isn't angulation more a result than actually a movement of the body in a way? I mean, angulation really happens if you're, you'd have to bring in rotation in a way, and you'd have to talk about upper and lower body separation
I
to
could.
talk about angulation.
Yeah, I could. I could.
No,
I mean,
not you
that's
could.
going to
I
be
think, can you really talk about angulation without relating to
that's going to kind of
upper and
verge
lower body
more
separation?
into. Yeah, I know where you're going. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Rebecca. I keep repeatedly doing it, and it's just rude of me.
I'm rude
That's going to
myself.
be. I'm sorry.
I said I'm rude myself, so I'm used to it.
So you're correct. There is some lateral separation that needs to occur in her skiing. Now we're kind of getting into the level 3 area of description. She does not have a lot of lateral separation, and that's because she doesn't have a lot of rotational separation. As a matter of fact, because she kind of pulls that inside or the outside shoulder across the ski in her turns, her ability to create any angles at all are not there.
So how would you create that lateral separation, Chuck?
Well, she needs to be able to control her upper body, right? So that's that idea of we need to make sure that we have this kind of thing going on where the legs are rotating underneath our body first. I can't do it out of can't do it out of thin air. I have to be able to do it somewhere. So I got to get her to leg turn first. because she's not really leg turning. She's just kind of parking and riding. And because of the way that she starts the turn, which is with an upper body twist, and she kind of continues to twist around it, it really, really makes it hard for her to create any angles at all in her waist. And lateral, I mean, this is lateral, right? This is rotational. And hopefully you're getting a combination of the two things happening. You know, the old Jen Metz thing of I can have rotational separation without lateral rotation or lateral separation, but I can't have lateral separation really without rotational separation. I have to be able to have the lower body, the freedom to move underneath me before I can start doing it, creating those angles. Does that help, Rebecca?
No, because how can you talk about all that when you're only focused on edging and ski to ski?
That's kind of an issue, isn't it? Because that's a level two MA, right? If I was going to go more into the level 3, I would be starting to talk, the conversation would definitely be centered around that lack of ability to create angles because of a rotational separation issue.
Chuck, I have another question
Go
on
ahead.
edging.
Yeah, go.
I didn't hear you say anything about when the skis are tipping to be on an edge, if they were the edges were tipped a similar amount or a different amount.
No, I did not, did I?
No, and I don't know that that's crucial, but I think it's probably worth mentioning.
I think it's probably worth describing, and I think you're correct. I would probably say they're tipping fairly, for the most part, they're tipping together and about the same amount. And the reason why I say that is because the way that she's tipping is almost primarily through inclination, right? There's not a whole lot of differentiation between the upper and lower body to create one edge over the other. I mean, you could probably argue that maybe the A-framing is creating a little bit more edge angle on the outside, but I honestly think that's a result of the pressures building more than anything else.
No, I agree with you. I would have said they were pretty similar.
They're pretty
wouldn't have
similar.
probably gone beyond that. Yeah.
Chuck, I have a
Yeah,
question.
go ahead.
So someone mentioned that 4F fundamental, and you said that just gives something more complicated, but that's something that should be addressed before talking about the rotational separation, upper lower bar separation. This is
Yeah.
4F, so without that addressing, we cannot move any further.
It would be very, very difficult for her to talk about. I mean, to get her into a lesson and start talking about, hey, you need to create some rotational separation without addressing that is going to be, it's going to make for a long day. Yes. We got to get her in a position to move is a lot of way I like to describe it. I got to get her centered over the skis so that she can have access to all these pieces that are crucial. Because right now she's back.
Yeah.
I mean, she's back a lot. And it's as she goes through the turn, she tends to get a little bit more back, and then she kind of moves forward briefly at the beginning of the turn, but it's not anywhere where she needs to be, right? She's still not matching the ski angle to the hill.
Then inside ski goes farther ahead of outside ski, and
yeah. There's all kinds of issues there, right? All right. Did anybody hear me say anything about dirt again? I thought somebody for sure would pick up on that. How quickly, how often, how high, how blah, blah, blah. Now, granted, she's not doing a whole lot all the time, but I got to start thinking about color. Got to fill in the blanks, right? Because she kind of quickly moves from one side to the other. That's why they're kind of like comma or parentheses turns, because that transition phase is about this long.
Well, technically it would be apostrophe shaped because that's closer to the J shape that you had mentioned earlier.
Yeah. I gave her the benefit of the doubt of saying they're like this, but they're kind of like this. Right? Yeah. All right. That's one thing. In the middle of the edging, I said there are two ways that she was creating edges. What was it? Might have been the other way that she was creating edge. And think about the outside ski and the edge at the little end of each turn.
Yeah.
Because Mike already mentioned that the legs were starting to open up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if the legs are opening up at the end of the turn, and she's trying to create edges, how is she creating edges there, or
So
continue to create edges?
she's got some displacement at the end if you're
She's
talking
got some
about the
displacement.
A-framing. Yeah.
Yeah. Little bit of displacement. It's not much, but this ski is definitely moving away, trying to find pressure and edge.
Okay. Yeah.
Is it like pushing? Like
She's not really pushing. It's just happening because she's riding the inside ski. So the outside ski is just kind of traveling away from her a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, she's like, you can go back to this. I mean, look at that inside ski. I mean, she's so much on the inside ski right here. Right.
That,
It's actually, you can actually see it go like this as
that's
she's tracking
creating
through the
that
snow.
A-frame too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think the A-frame is a consequence of the outside leg just seeking something to stand on.
Well, that
Right.
and the fact is because she's inclining, she can't get a steeper edge angle on the inside ski, so it's going to be flatter than the edge angle on the outside ski.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So she's basically stabilizing herself on the inside. I guess you could actually think of the outside ski functioning as an outrigger to keep her balanced so she doesn't collapse to the inside.
Right, exactly. If it wasn't for centrifugal force, she'd be down.
Mm-hmm.
Right. If the snow wasn't pushing back on an inside ski, she was gone.
Well, you're just beating the crap out of this game. There's not. We
Well,
haven't
I
said
don't know
anything
who she is,
positive.
so yes, I can.
Well, the positive
I
thing
mean,
is she demonstrates a lot of confidence in her own abilities to come down the hill. She is moving down the hill at a pretty good clip. And she started with large radius turns and did tighten them up a little bit to medium radius turns, and her focus is still moving down the hill.
Yeah.
That's all pretty positive.
You
and
said
she's
they were
wearing
And her
she's wearing
blue
a name
coat
tag.
doesn't have holes in it and duct tape.
Yeah, exactly. She's wearing a name tag, so she can't be that bad. Well, maybe she isn't wearing a name tag.
Is
I'll take
that better?
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
You're welcome.
You
Chuck,
said they were
can you go?
Sorry.
I'm still stuck on something you said in your demo about why would she want to create more angles at the bottom of the turn?
Because that's
You
where the
said-
pressure starts to build.
But how do you create? Why would you create? Aren't we trying to create more angles at the shaping phase? Like how? Why are you trying
It
to
would
create?
start in, yeah, it would start in the shaping phase. So most of the angles should be starting to form. Ideally, they should be forming before this apex, but that rarely does happen. So it's mostly going to happen after the apex of the turn. But she
But we're
never
talking
really creates angles
angles from the knee down. Are you talking about?
from the waist down either. She doesn't have any angles built in the waist either.
Correct, that I see, but I guess I was in the finish of the turn, I wouldn't think of it as where I want to create more angles
Well, that's where most of the pressure builds.
for her, but that's
Yeah.
not the ideal.
And there is one little thing that I heard a long time ago. I think it's kind of important for everybody. We create angles. We create edging through inclination, but we manage pressure through angulation.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So that idea of we manage the pressure at the end of the turn by manipulating our angles doesn't necessarily happen at the top of the turn. It does happen more at the bottom of the turn, where all the pressure is starting to come at us.
No, I will input this, and Chuck, feel free to shut me down.
Go ahead.
But you had brought up that one of the biggest things we have to do with this individual is to get her balanced over her skis, or basically over her feet. And you were pushing the fore aft. This is true, but we also have to think of our bodies in 3 dimensions. We got to be fore aft balanced, but we also have to be right left balanced.
Yeah.
And we'll combine these things oftentimes with some rotary components, but we need both aspects to actually be balanced over our feet. We can't do it with just one or the other.
Now, the good thing is I know where where her upper body rotation is coming from and why she's using it. Because she doesn't really have access to leg turning.
Agreed.
Or upper or lower body separation or lateral separation or any of the other stuff that we like to see.
So she does not have torso stability to create lower body mobility.
Or she can't have torsal stability because she needs that torsal mobility in order to start the lower legs to move because she's occupied her hips and thighs.
Because right, she's there is not torso stability because she's beginning the turns with upper body rotation.
Right. But she has to.
Yeah.
That's the only way
That's the only way she'll get her create an angular momentum to turn her skis.
Right. Exactly.
So we have upper body mobility to support lower body stability.
Yeah. Exactly. All right. If we beat up on this poor person enough, I don't
I
know
have
who she
one more
was.
question, Chuck.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's really about fore aft because I'm probably wrong, but I feel like there's in the middle of the turn, there's times when she's centered. I don't feel like she's always aft.
She's not always aft. At the beginning of the turn, she does move forward, right? It's just not enough because the skis start going down the hill before she does.
Right. Like right there. I mean, you stopped it at a good place there.
Yeah.
She looks pretty centered there to me.
She's better centered, but I'm going to say that the skis are starting to move down the hill. You know, she was going more across the hill, but as the skis start to go down the hill, she's not going with them. She's trying to get there, but she doesn't really go with them. And so she gets trapped in the same thing happening in each turn where she's just consistently back. Even though there is an extension, like right there.
Yeah.
She's more balanced there, but watch the skis move away from her. Oh, goodbye, gone. As the skis move down the hill, she's now chasing her own skis.
And even though there is an extension movement, it's mostly in the knees and the hips. She really doesn't close those ankles that much.
No.
But she moves from behind the bindings to about under the heel. But she never gets it far enough forward to engage anything in front of her toes.
Okay.
So is that a function of her dropping the uphill hand, or is dropping the uphill hand a result?
I think that is a result. I think that's a symptom.
And that's almost too simplistic, Rebecca. There's a lot of things that's causing her to drop back on the heel.
Yeah. And she's pretty disciplined with her hands. I mean, somebody's already talked to her about, those hands never really move from that position. She is deathly afraid to move her hands back. So,
but
all right.
Her arms are moving though with that upper body rotation.
They are. Oh yeah. We see this, right? We see this. This is the whole thing. And sometimes she does drop one side. She does it on her left side more than her right. So, yeah.
And I want to say, like, if you had stopped her at the end of the shaping of that last turn, she's got an overflexed outside ankle and her ankles aren't evenly flexed.
I think that's a symptom of the fact that she has inclined or banked so far in.
Yeah.
That in order to get more pressure off of the inside ski and so that she can allow the outside ski to get something, that she has to kind of physically move it forward.
Right. And she's got too much lead change at that point too.
Well, yeah, it's a result of the bending of the knee in front. Yeah.
Right.
She gets kind of in that stuck position.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Yeah. All right.
Thanks.
We got to let this one go. All right. I'm going to award myself a C for my description.
Chuck, I'm going to sign off. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Rita, for coming. Did you get
I'll
anything
see you
out of
next week.
tonight?
All right. Yeah,
Did
I've
you?
got dinner plans. Thank you again.
Oh, what do you buy? What are you getting me?
You
I didn't
know,
know we were going out.
I know, right? Next time.
Next
I'm
time.
sorry we rate lower than dinner.
All right. Well, have a good evening, everybody.
All right. Any other last questions before I punch everybody into a breakout room? Oh, good Lord. I didn't even see that. Technical understanding. Oh, okay. Yeah. This is the cool. Thank you, Mike. All right. I think I would have done this by now, but I didn't. And we're going to do 4 breakout rooms and we're going to sign automatically. All right, good. How many people we got left? All right, good. Oh, it's a perfect number. I want to move. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put everybody in their breakout rooms. What's going to be a who is here? Who's going to an exam? Some folks. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to an exam.
Yeah,
All right.
me too.
Okay. Well, I know Scott is. Scott, you get to kind of help lead your group then.
Sure.
And then Mike, you got a group, and I'm going to kind of bounce in and out. All right. Go. All right. Cool. Everybody get enough time? No? All right. Anybody want to go first?
Oh, we didn't make it all the way through the list, Gumby.
What list? I didn't know
They
there
had
was a list.
They had a sheet of things they were going through.
Oh, okay. Well, you're going to have to go through faster next time.
Yeah. We probably got through about 3/4 of the stuff.
All right, cool. Dave, do you want to go do yours real quick and give everybody a little bit of time to kind of reconvene with their own heads what's going on? All right. Yes, no, maybe.
I
Or
mean,
David.
hey,
David.
Chuck, I can go first if you
All
want.
right. Which one did you have?
We had
This guy, right?
The blue skier, yeah. So let's see. I had hang on.
So did you pick 2 fundamentals?
No, I didn't actually do an MA. I kind of took on the role of just helping.
Okay, cool.
I think it was Ursula. I don't know. Ursula Felt. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing the name right. And we kind of walked through what she saw, and I'm just going to kind of repeat it for her because she's just getting started and didn't really want to be on call. But I'll kind of talk a little bit about what we did. Okay.
Okay.
So basically,
kind of paint us a quick picture then. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we kind of looked at it from a level 1 perspective, and she did a good job of saying, you know, I'm looking at a skier making short to medium radius parallel turns on a groomed run, and the thing that she noticed was he seemed to be aft. So we walked through the process of, well, how can you tell he's aft? And, you know, we discussed that the ankles are probably the primary thing that you're looking at because changing the ankle of the angles will do the most to change your body position in relation to the length of the ski.
Cool.
And then we talked about, you know, the knees, what causes you to be aft, the ankles being open, the knees being flexed, and the upper body hips being open. So we looked at the different positions, initiation, shaping, and finish, and saw that he was asked most of the time. And when we talked about ski performance, we said, well, how can you tell from just looking at ski performance that he's aft? And there's a couple times when he's going across the hill where you can clearly see the tips are off the snow. So again, it was a level one MA, but I think she actually did a pretty good job of identifying the ski and the body performance.
Groovy. So, I mean, level one's going to need a little bit more than that, but that's a pretty good start.
Right.
That's a pretty good start. All right, Scott, tell me about this guy. What did you
So now
notice
you want
about
me
him?
to tell you something.
Yeah, of course. What is the big overarching pieces of this guy?
Well,
He's
he's
awesome.
aft.
He's perfect the way he is, right?
He's aft.
He's aft.
Right.
Okay.
So if you want me to try and do like a level 3.
Just give me the big broad points because we're kind of running out of time.
Right. Okay. So he's aft for all the reasons we talked about. He's also, this is a good place to stop it. He's got too much pressure on his inside ski because he's inclined. It's almost like he's got a hip dump going on here because his hips are way inside. He does have some hip angulation, but because he's so far inside, he still has more pressure on his inside ski through the turn.
Okay. And how do you know he's got the inside pressure on the ski? Is it like that thing right
Well,
there?
that's a good indication right there. We've got some diversion in the tips, actually a lot of diversion in the tips. And you can see that outside ski is kind of being displaced to the side just to get some kind of grip because he's got so much pressure on his inside ski.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I agree. I feel like he's hip dumping. He's like the exact opposite of the same person we looked before, except different performance, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And you can also see he's inclined because if you look at the angle of his shoulders,
oh yeah,
his inside shoulder is tipped way inside and much lower than his outside shoulder. And we'd rather have those square to the slope, which you would have to have a lot more hip angulation to make that happen.
So is there anything that's different between one side and the other that you would point out?
Honestly, we were so focused on the other stuff, I didn't really watch him that much.
Yeah, because he
through the whole
inclines
thing.
way more on one side and then he hip dumps on the other.
Okay.
Like there's a hip dump, right?
Right.
Right. And then watch this side. Whoop. So that's the hip dump side. Watch this side. It's not the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not the same. It's almost
No,
like
it's
he only does left-hand turns, right? Or, I'm sorry,
Right.
right. Yeah, right-hand turns. He only does right-hand turns
Right.
because he's
He does
constantly
two
moving.
turns, Gumby. He goes left and right.
Yeah, he's mostly pointed to the right. Let's put it that way, right?
Yeah.
Because he's pointed to the right, and then goes to the right, and then he points to the right, and then he moves the upper body to the right. So he's always moving to the right.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because that's how the last person we watched was, for all his right-hand turns with his left leg is very similar to the person we just watched, where the over rotation is robbing the ability to create upper and lower body separation. But on the opposite side, he's overdoing the upper and lower body separation by hip dumping into the inside. Right? Very interesting specimen. I don't even know where I found this. Oh, Robert Crawford. Okay. All right, cool. Who wants to go next?
I'll do it.
All right, Dave. Cool. I was mean to Dave. I made him do bumps. And this is somebody that Diane's going to recognize.
So, from the run, I'm looking at a skier on pack powder, blue black bump run, who's making mostly parallel turns in the troughs that are quick and short. And the fundamentals I'm looking at are edging and then secondary fore aft. He's initially creating edging through his lower legs, tipping his ankles and knees simultaneously in the initial turns. And then as he comes down toward the bottom, his speed increases and his tipping becomes more sequential than simultaneous
Okay.
through and this is through the initiation, shaping, and finish phases of his turns. The body um, performance and with his see, I've already said that with the ankles and knees tipping.
Keep doing. Go through the body performance again, please, because
Okay, the body performance is that his edging is created through the lower leg tipping, the ankles and knees, and uh, and that's how he's controlling his turn shape as well. But as he's coming down further on the um, slope, he's losing his simultaneous tipping of his ankles and knees, and they become more sequential than simultaneous. He loses contact with the snow as well. The more the secondary fundamental I'm looking at here for aft is initially the initial turns, the skier is appearing fairly centered over his skis in the initial turns, but he begins to pick up speed as through the progression of his turns, and there's for more progressive knee flexion until his knees are overly flexed and he becomes more aft. And as a result, he loses control of his speed. He's not able to control turn shape and check his speed this way. And that results ultimately in losing contact with the snow and a very aft stance in which he almost falls at the bottom. What I would like to see is his ability to maintain consistent tipping simultaneously through all phases of his turn and through all turns down the slope. And for him to be able to for him to be able to reset his feet underneath himself so that he does not develop overly flexed knees, lose control of speed and turn shape. That would require recentering his skis underneath him as he notices he's starting to accelerate and be able to check his speed and turn shape. And then that would allow him to be able to maintain a more rhythmic performance of turns all throughout all turns and at every phase of his turns, initiation, shaping phase, and finish. And that would allow him to check his speed and keep him in balance.
So let's go to the ideal. I'm sorry, I'm going to nitpick on you just a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's go to the ideal and the tipping part. What part of the body is he at it? And it's all right to say this is pretty good performance or it's not good performance or blah, blah, blah.
The initial turns are okay performance.
Okay,
He
good.
appears to be in fairly good control, but he continues to flex the knees and which causes him to become more aft.
Right. And he starts to lose the
And
ability. Is that what you're suggesting?
yeah, he starts lose because he's becoming more aft. He's not able to control his turns, and therefore he's losing his ability to simultaneously continue appropriate tipping of his knees and ankles, which would then also help him check his speed because he's schmearing, but he'd be able to create more edging and check his speed, and particularly in the finish phase of the turn.
More correct. Yeah.
What's that?
I don't know if I notice him being less simultaneous in the
I
low.
think on some of the turns there, I saw one ski go and then the next
I think
down near
I
the
think
bottom.
I think you could argue that, but it's also like powdery bumps. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think he does a pretty good job of tipping both. But I do agree with the fact that he gets overflexed, and that's like the cause of the acceleration. Anybody else got any comments on that?
That I'm going to agree that he gets less simultaneous
Okay.
because you see his stance start to open,
Yeah.
and his stance opens both at the end and the in through the transition phase.
Yep.
And as that does, slides that one ski out farther away from him, and it actually increases the edge angle on the outside ski, but not on the inside ski when that happens.
Yeah. I could see your point, and where he's kind of, instead of using edging as a gripping mechanism, he's starting to try to transfer into a more of a rotational movement, try to help him slow down, trying to bang the sides of the bumps right in here after the tree. So
Yeah, and
that
he
would
kind of
suggest it's a little bit more sequential also. So
right.
I could see
All
arguments
in
either
all,
way.
it's really good skiing.
It's really good skiing. Yeah, he kind of gets a little strung out down here at the bottom where he gets overflexed in the knees and he loses a lot of stuff. And then he makes a jump to kind of save it, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So is
But
that Donnie?
I think that's Donnie, yeah.
Oh, is that one of your trainers?
Yeah, it's one of our trainers.
You,
A
you
long
know,
time ago.
I want to say something about his being aft and why he gets going so fast because he loses the ability to steer his skis to get him out of the fall line and complete his turn so he can slow down
No,
because he's
and we
so
that's what we
apt.
talked about. That's what we talked about at the top. So these top few turns are good because he can turn the ski
Right.
and he's getting early edging just like look at that. I mean, he's doing a really nice job of tipping the skis as he brings them around, and that's allows him to be balanced here, right? And that's
Yep.
pretty good,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
That's pretty ideal. But when he gets down here at the bottom, he gets a little faster and he gets a little overflex in the knees and he doesn't really straighten back out. And the next thing he knows, he's like right there. Look how flexed he is compared to where he was before.
Right. And so his muscles are so engaged
Yeah.
to keep him upright, he can't steer his skis out of the fall line to control speed.
Yeah, and
Yeah, because
this is where he
he's
starts to
down.
kind of use a little bit of a hip to help him kind of get from one side to the other. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, this is pretty good skiing. I mean, he's not terrible in the bumps. But yeah, he gets a little strung out there. All right, cool. Anybody got any other questions on this one? Was this pretty clear to you? Dave, I thought that was pretty good.
Oh, good. I mean, so we're saying what I'd like to see him do is slow his turns down and focus on staying more forward in his fore aft, which would allow
Yeah.
him to be
If he could
able
get his
to.
if he could get his skis back underneath him at the beginning of the turn, that's going to
He,
allow him to get those tips down and get a little bit more
no,
engagement.
he'll be able to pressure his tips on
Mhm.
initiation and check his speed.
And that's going to allow him to get that grip high and it's going to be able to check his speed that way. Like just like he did at the top that he did so well, right? Because those are
Yeah,
good turns
on
at the
those
top.
first turns are yeah.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Who's next? Who had this skier? Or is everybody scared of the skier? It's getting late,
Yeah,
so
they're all scared of him. You know, Leona was in that group.
I know
Oh,
when they're doing pretty
come
good, you
on,
got to be
don't
able to
make me
describe
call
pretty good
names
skiers
here.
too.
It's okay to say good things about him.
Lenny was in the group.
Yeah, no.
Ralph was with the group. We didn't get completely through the skier, but we
That's
got
fine.
a lot done, and that's okay. So you
What's
guys,
the It's a
It's
couple of good
okay to
fundamentals for this guy.
embarrass yourselves in front of the group here.
That's the whole point, right? So what would be a couple of good fundamentals for him? I see some really nice things happening.
So their focus was on fore aft and rotary was the two fundamentals
Oh,
they
good.
chose.
Cool. Fore, aft, and rotary. Somebody want to speak to that?
Okay, I'll go. This is
All right,
Eric.
that a boy.
All right, so and my name's Eric. You see his EL. I can't fix my Zoom, so that's why it's
No, that's
EL.
fine. You're
You can
fine.
call
Don't
me
worry.
L. So what we looked at here on fore aft
Uh-huh.
is it appears that his center mass is aft, and I'm able to observe that for a couple observations here. One, I see bending from his ski from his boots back, or the other way to look at that is through the initiation and shaping and even finishing his turn, his tips are off the snow. So that leads me to believe he's got a center mass that's aft in his stance here.
Okay, when? When is it aft? Is there a
Uh,
particular
it's
time or is it just aft all the time?
I see it really as he goes into as he transitions into initiation and clearly then through the shaping phase. And I see that because it looks to me like his skis during the shaping phase are, again, kind of getting out in front of him a little bit, which would lead me to believe again that his center mass is back because his skis are accelerating a little faster than his body. And I do not see his center of mass moving forward in ideally in the shaping phase from initiation to facing. I don't see his center mass moving forward to put pressure equally and or towards the tips of his skis to help initiate the turn.
Okay. Now, the reason why I'm asking specifically when, because that's going to be something that come up.
Okay.
This is not awful skiing, right? So,
Not fundamentally.
yeah, the parts that I'm going to agree with, and I'm going to let everybody else argue with me, is that I agree that after the apex of the turn, he does tend to get a little bit back. But I do see him moving forward at the initiation.
Okay.
So, we are allowed to stroke the ski.
Chuck, I thought I was unmuted, but I was muted. If you look at his angles, even at the initiation of the turn, his ankle isn't particularly flexed. His knee is flexed more than his ankle or his waist.
Oh, I agree. I think it's lazy ski instructor turns is what they are, right?
Yeah, and that's why
But
we
I
noticed that
do
in his turn to the
see,
right, he makes a quick pivot at
I
the
do
start of the turn.
see, oh yeah. I do see a movement forward there, right? Where he's opening up his knees and his hips a little bit. So he's pretty much he's pretty good balanced right there. Then he starts to sink.
Yeah.
And then he starts to get back.
Yeah. He kind of goes through balance.
He goes through balance.
And some of that has got to do with this crossover as well. But
Yeah,
we didn't go that deep.
Oh, I was staring at his release going, what is that release, right? Right? Because it's more of a kind of a push-off release. But
and I'll help our group out. We did notice that he is asymmetric. He has two different turns.
Yeah, he does. So there's that push-off release. But I do see this movement forward. See how the knee and the hips start to open up and he's trying to find balance? Right? So that's actually pretty good right there, right? But he does when he gets to about here, then the focus is how does he control his speed? And I think he controls his speed by pushing his tails.
Yeah. Yes. Definitely.
Cool. So anybody want to talk about the rotational piece?
Well, he initiates. We notice that his upper body moves before his legs turn.
Sure. What part of his body?
his arms and shoulders.
Cool.
Particularly on the turn to the right.
Yeah, it's mostly on one side than the other, right?
Yeah, more on the turn to the right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And we were just starting to go through the right turn when you cut us off.
You're getting long-winded again, Mike.
Or excuse me, working on the left turn when you
The
cut us off.
left turn.
No,
I
was
agree.
asking
I was gonna
questions
say,
and they had
I
to
know what you
answer
were
it.
saying. I knew what you were saying because I was like, well, it's really the left turn, but that's all right.
Well, yeah, but I
Depends on
got to
how you're
learn to
looking at
speak
it, right?
accurately.
Yeah. It depends on his left turn, your right turn here, right? So cool. And what's that causing the skis to do?
The this it's directing pressure more to the inside ski, causing a quick pivot at the top of the turn, and then a slower move at the completion of the turn. He's cutting his speed and kind of pushing out his tails at the completion of the turn.
There it is.
They go
It's
sideways
very slight because
ways.
he's really practiced at it. But this is what an upper body rotation does to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You see the divergent or the convergence? See how the outside ski begins to spin before the inside ski. And why is the outside ski spinning before the inside ski? From a biomechanical standpoint. Where is all the weight?
On the inside ski.
Inside ski.
Right. So it allows the outside ski to spin first.
Yeah.
This is just a really high level of seeing the exact same thing we see our beginners and lower level intermediates do when they swing their bodies around. Right? So
Right.
that convergence never really quite goes away.
So it's like a sophisticated wedge Christie.
It's a very sophisticated wedge. He's very practiced at it. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So ideally, what we'd want is not well. Actually, a wedge Christie, Katie, would make him better because
Yeah.
he would have to figure out how to flatten the new inside ski to start the turn.
Right.
Because what he's doing now is he's hanging on the ski and spinning to start the turn. See what I mean? It's just because it's low level basic parallels and he's doing a good job of disguising it, it's not very evident.
Right.
But
Instead
he
of
never
lightening the inside
releases the
ski.
inside ski.
Yeah. Instead of lightening the inside ski, the outside ski is what's light and turning faster than the inside ski.
Because he doesn't release the inside ski, the new inside ski at the top of the turn. It gets stuck. And so that up and over move is kind of his next resort. All right, cool.
I would put out too that the group also decided that on the right turns, the rate of rotation of the skis was overall a little quicker than to the left.
I think I could get behind that. One side's better than the other.
Yep. The left turns tend to be a little better. He's actually got a counter as he comes out of that right turn and goes into the left.
Yep.
So there's a little less upper body and a little more
Mm-hmm.
foot steering, a little more leg steering to help out with that left turn.
Yeah.
But the rate of rotation is a little slower at the initiation of the turn. It's more obvious in the top turns than it is on the bottom.
Cool. Yep.
But that's about where we ended.
All right, cool.
Mike,
Questions
I'm
on this
glad
one?
you mentioned that counter because I just want to throw out something that I think I'm pretty sure I see. I think he has some leg turning at the end. I think he's got a little bit of counter, and I see the eight legs turn the skis across the hill.
No, I see this too. I mean, he's a pretty good skier.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, his
I
finish
really
isn't
like when I
bad.
see this, right? I really like it's just there's a little spin and he gets a little quicker at the top and then it's kind of rolling through at the end. It's not quite a park and ride, but it's a little park and ridey at the end.
I mean, you can tell that he's thinking about this.
Yeah. pretty good skiing. I don't hate that. It would pass a level 2. Yeah. All right. Who do we got that's left? This one. Anybody want to talk about this one? Or is it time to shut it down? Everybody's scared of them.
Yeah, we're all scared.
This skier is not that much different than the skier we just watched.
No, it's a lot different. It's younger. I don't know.
It's
Is it younger?
probably it might
Why
be
is
a
that?
woman too.
Is that Kate? Is that Kate?
Yeah, that actually does look like Kate.
It does look like Kate.
It's got the blue helmet, the brown jacket.
Okay. Yeah. Well, how dare she post it on her website or on her YouTube page? Because you know what that means.
Yeah, it was from when she went to Argentina.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Dion, I'm agreeing with you. I think it's pretty similar to the last skier. A lot of the
So
same
I know
movements.
my group was actually going through a checklist.
There,
As in, where were we? How big was the turn?
right.
We decided it was a medium turn because
That's
it
been
was
our, yeah,
mostly parallel.
we talked a lot about process this morning, and I reintroduced the primary skill EMA, even though that check sheet, that script, even though it's been in every email I've sent out for the last 2 months.
Yeah. So we were going through the script, Gumby.
Yeah.
The group identified edging and ski to ski pressure.
Cool.
With edging being a primary.
Okay.
And they thought, and their reason for that was actually based on the terrain, because it was a little variable there. So they thought that controlling the edges appropriately would be a better tactic.
Cool.
To help the skier get down the hill. They decided that the majority of the speed control came at the bottom of the turn.
Okay, good.
And that it looked like it got a little pushy at the bottom of the turn, and that's where the speed control was coming from.
Sure. I could get behind
and
that.
that the turns were not round. Because some of the initial descriptions were talking about this like, it was perfectly simultaneous, a great blend of edging and angulation. But then when they decided the turn wasn't round, then it's like, okay, well, if the turn's not round, then what's making it not round? It can't be perfect skiing, because if it was, the turn would be round. And that's where we actually ended.
Oh, okay. So how is she creating angles? Or I'm sorry, how is she creating edging? Did the group decide how she was creating edging? I know there's some folks that are going to bed. So thank you for attending and
So I think there was a little bit of confusion because there are some angles made, more angles on one side than the other.
Yeah.
But the angles are primarily coming at the hip.
Mm-hmm. On one side, yes.
On one side, and then the other side, the skier is primarily inclining to create angles.
Cool. I think that's important. I mean, that's the first question I always ask when I'm talking about edging is, how are they created? How are they created and where's the highest edge angle? Those are the first two
highest
questions
edge
you should
angle
ask.
is after the fall line, and then it maintains pretty much through the finish.
Yep.
The group did say that the edges stayed high and maybe even got higher after the fall line.
Yep. I agree. Relative to the slope.
Relative to the slope.
Relative to the slope, especially relative to the slope. I agree with that. And then they kind of quickly or slowly change from one side to the other.
We didn't get that far, Gumby.
All right, that's fine. What do we think? Quick, slow, fast, progressive, sometimes, never? How How did the edges change from one side to the other? Add somebody gets put some dirt on there. I already know the answer, so
Well, I would like to hear your answer and see if it agrees with my answer.
I think she moves quickly from edge to edge as she kind of metronomes from one side to the other.
So I think her body moves quickly, but I think actually the skis themselves don't move fast enough from edge to edge. I think the body moves quickly because the skis get displaced from one side to the other, but the skis don't actually go from one set of edges to the other set of edges through flat rapidly. And it's because it's a whole body movement, so it has to come up and over. I think if she was using her lower legs to create the edges, the skis themselves would switch edges faster, but the body would move slower.
And I'm going to
I see
agree
where you're
with,
going with that. You're taking it to a different level.
yeah, I'm going to agree with Dion too. I think the body is moving as if she were doing a short radius turn, so there's kind of a body pose after the fall line. She's all out of movement.
Right.
Yeah, she gets static.
I'll throw a loop in there too. I think she extends to a pivot at the top of the turn.
Oh, you are correct.
Well, 100%. But you're adding a different fundamental in there.
I know, but that extension lightens her skis so she can pivot them quickly, and then they engage. Maybe in the fall line they start to engage, maybe slightly after the fall line, somewhere in shaping.
And to put that extension and add that lightning is the pivot actually also then that extension coupled with the pivot allows the skis to slide away from her center of mass into an inclined position.
Sure. I like that.
Doesn't stand on them and then tip her whole body over. She actually moves the skis away from her onto an edge.
So if she put her skis on an edge a little bit earlier, started tipping at initiation a little sooner, then that would keep her from smearing that top of the turn.
That would be the ideal, yes. But she would have to adopt different body movements in order to do that.
But on the other hand, she's in control. She's maintaining her speed from top to bottom. There is some rhythm and flow with it.
Yep.
Come on, we got to do positives in there too.
I would say that she's in Argentina and I wasn't, and so I'm jealous. Because that snow looks fabulous. It looks like way more snow than we have.
It wouldn't take much to get more snow than we have.
I don't see rocks and trees and stumps sticking out of it.
Hey, Chuck.
Yeah.
Is it when she's at the bottom of the turn, getting ready to turn right?
Mm-hmm.
Is she putting a lot of edge on, bleeding off a lot of speed right there? Before she makes the transition back to the start of the next turn.
I think we could probably call that, we could almost call that a rotary push off, but it's kind of like not like the typical down stem that we see. But she is definitely using the momentum of one turn to move to the other side. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think she's maybe burning off some of the speed right there with that.
Well, she's overcooking the bottom to get to the other side.
Okay. And yeah, the net result is it does cut off some of the speed.
Yeah.
Because it basically throws like a little tiny semi-hockey stock in there.
She's savoring every turn. How about that, Todd?
Okay, yeah.
She's in Argentina. It's blue skies and there's snow on the ground.
This was like 2 years ago, guys. Don't get too jealous.
I thought it was this summer. Oh no, it was 2023, wasn't it? Yeah, all right.
Yeah, it's been a couple years.
All right. Have we beat up on Kate enough? Any other questions? Good job,
You
Di.
know what's really? I'm gonna have to text Kate and tell her that I watched this video, and it took me until I talked about it being a woman, and you're like, "Is that Kate?" And then I went, "Oh yeah, that is Kate."
I
Because she
went,
doesn't ski like this anymore.
yeah. Well, some of the same things are still there.
Yeah, but now she turns her legs and shit.
She turns her legs more. She still kind of angulates the same way. She doesn't really angulate that much on one side more than the other. I mean, she angulates more on one side than the other. But I don't. I'm not even going to go there. I'm not even going to say. All right,
I
cool.
think we should call it an evening.
I
It
think it's
was a
good
great
enough. People, I'm
evening.
putting
Good
people to sleep.
discussions,
Let's put it that
everyone.
way. Thank you very much. I thought that was productive.
Yeah.
So let me see if I can come up. I'll be in Colorado next week, and I'm going to try to cook up another way to get your brains activated in the early evening. I like the idea of you guys auditing me, but after a while that gets tiring. So I still want to do something that's going to be along the lines of an example, but I want to let me put my thought to it and see if I can come up with a different way to not necessarily audit, but to get those ideas running. Okay. Come up with a teach, not a teach. I'm sorry. Come up with a description of a teach you did either last week or this week. Okay. That I think is a really good way. And the ideas that I want to hear is what you saw in their movement analysis, right? When you first saw them ski, what were they doing? How did that turn into a teach? What was the movement you were targeting and how you would move that in teach? And if you had a task that you wanted to include, that would be awesome too. Because that shows application of the MA, not just bleh, here's my words, right? Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
think of a teach that you did. Like I had a guy today, and I knew before he even opened his mouth. How do you before I even asked the question of how he likes it, how he stops, because I already saw him ski and I was like, this guy stops by doing this because both his legs are straight as arrows, right? And they're really, really braced. So when I asked him, he goes, how do you slow down and stop? He went, this. And it was very evident. I didn't even, I mean, that's one of those questions, Alona, where I ask, but I already know the answer, right? So that's an example of I watched him do something and then I asked him a question to kind of get some guidance, even though I knew what was going to happen. And that helped me set up the learning experience in a way where I could get him out of that brace position and allow him to start turning his legs more, even though I knew that was going to be very difficult because the brace was pretty endemic. Cool. So that's an example of how I would use that as an application. Groovy?
Okay.
By the way, we did hop turns.
Hmm.
No, we did not. No, we just did we did a few bunny hops. We did some things to kind of get him loosened back up, get those feet back underneath him a little bit. So
You know how I
groovy?
know you didn't do hop turns, Gumby?
Because I can't do hop turns.
Because you hate hop turns.
I hate. They just ought to ban them.
I love them.
No, shut up.
Mike, you're fired. I'm going to beat you with my pole on Tuesday.
Get rid of
Sorry.
speed. I'm gonna lead the charge of getting rid of speeds. No more speeds turns.
Oh, I love space turns.
Oh, good Lord. I did it. I did
Gumby,
all my teaching
how
this
about we
weekend in
only have to
Stellington,
do
Mike.
speed turns in steeps going down a hill where they actually like you're supposed to use that in a chute.
Yeah,
You're not supposed to
that's
use
what we
that
do
on
every
the
day.
flats. On the flats, I'm supposed to skate to try and go somewhere.
Which is more likely that it's just going to happen than you are in a chute, right? All right. Thanks for coming, everybody.
Thank you, Chuck.
We'll see you all next week.
Yeah,
Thanks a
thanks for
lot.
letting me
Great.
join
Thank you
you
so
guys.
much.
It was awesome.
Yeah, it
We
was
won't
great.
talk about the person I saw walking up for a class, and I decided right away that competitive quilting was their sport.